suppose they actually acquire the North-South Highway, that would be
Mm.
game changing for TransJam. That would probably be the only thing needed to send it to $10. Who knows?
Mm.
They're collecting toll, they're operating the entire highway, and after 50 years, it goes right back to the government of Jamaica and at no cost. If TransJam
Mm-hmm.
is making currently 86 million US a year and they're making 50, TransJam buying another TransJam,
Mm.
that would do wonders for the stock price. Absolute wonders. And then, dividends would possibly be doubled. Who knows? Hi guys, my name is Dr. Theon Sims and welcome to the Limitless podcast. Joining me as always is your co-host, Dr. Matthew Preston. Hail up the people then, Matthew.
Hey guys, what's good?
Excellent. Now today we're asking a very simple but spicy question.
What would it take for TransJamaica Highway to reach $10 a share? Or what would make us buy TransJam at $10?
And not a wild guess, more of an actual roadmap, pun intended. Slapstick. No? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think this is an interesting episode. We actually did an episode last year on TransJamaica Highway in terms of the
I
ticker.
feel like we did more than one.
Really? I
We
don't
didn't
know.
do.
I remember
Oh no, because I
I
guess
did
the
the
offer
ticker.
for sale. I think we talked about like the offer for sale when it came out.
Yes. So you guys can look
Yeah.
up those episodes if you want. We'll leave them in the description. However, today now we're looking at it through a different lens because I mean I see a lot of opportunities with this company, and so does Preston. And I think we just came together and said, hey, let's just talk some more about it. Be real about it with you guys. And we want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. To think, what would make you guys buy a TransJam at $10? Like, what things do you have to see? So, hey, any ideas? Leave them in the comments below. And yeah, let's jump right into it. What you thinking? Do you like the stock, Preston? And do you own the stock?
Yeah, I think I like the company. It's very simple, they own this highway that people use. You have to pay a toll on it. You can raise the price every year legally, and it's something that a lot of people depend on. They prefer to use that method versus other methods. They need to get somewhere fast, and in a country that essentially benefits, or because we don't have things like trains and stuff, then cars are needed. So like the fact that people need to be able to drive from point A to point B very fast, then yeah, it's a simple business model, I think. And they pay out like what? How much they pay now? Like 5% or so, depending on at the current market price. I think it's like 5% or so in dividends. So yeah, what about you?
Yes, so last year they paid 5% dividends based on, that was just last year. And then this year they paid one dividend, which is 3.35%. And last year that 5% was split into 2.5% dividends. So looks like the dividends can increase. We're looking for maybe another one in Q4 of this year. So we will see. And you did mention certain things that we will touch on later in the episode, but no, I do like the stock. I think, will TransJam be around for the next 10 years? Yes. So is it, in my opinion, is it more of a long-term stock? Not necessarily. We've seen price jumps and so on, but
by long-term stock,
I meant the same 10 years. Like, do I expect the price to increase in 10 years?
Oh.
Will it get to $10? It's quite likely. I think it could maybe get even higher than $10. We will see, based on the things we outline. But currently, when people think about highways, they actually also think about the North-South Highway, which is the Edward Siaga Highway. It was renamed.
Mm-hmm.
It was the North-South Highway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they're not the same company. So TransJam does not operate that highway. That highway is operated by the Jamaica North-South Highway Company. So
Mm-hmm.
JNSHC, yes, um, which is a Chinese entity actually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I don't know if I can. Maybe I can share my screen so you guys can see some of the things I was looking up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, let's do my tile window. So, sorry, I'm trying to find the website. Yes. So this is the website that I looked up
Mm-hmm.
and actually found certain articles on that highway. So on August 27, 2013, the China Development Bank actually provided two very large loans, one worth 400 mil, 425 mil, and another 200 mil. I think this is renminbi, which is the currency they use a lot in China, to the Jamaica North-South Highway Company Limited. So the same company that we're talking about. So this is not TransJamaica, but bear with me, guys. I know we go on tangents sometimes, but bear with me. And both of the loans, carry the following terms: maturity of 20 years, grace period of 3, interest rate, blah, blah, blah. So they tell you everything, right? It's a detailed document. And they told you where the toll road starts. So it's near the Caymanas economic zone, which connects the Mandela Highway. And it goes through Spanish Town, Bagwalk, Linstead, Yuaton, Moneague, Golden Grove, all the way up to, well, let's say Ocho Rios. It terminates in Miami Bay, which is, East St. Anne's Bay and so on. But what I found very, very interesting is, this section that I highlighted in purple. So the project was implemented on a public-private partnership, finance, and I tell you the debt to equity ratio, all these jazz, but the owners of JNSHC provided
Uh-huh.
150 million in equity contributions. So the company, it's a project company, they call it a special purpose vehicle. So basically, they created this company for one specific purpose, and it's just for this project. And it was founded, 2011 in Jamaica by a holding company registered in Barbados by CCCC International, China Harboring Engineering. So this is the company most people know, the China Harboring Engineering. So CCCC is just whenever you say that, just think of a Chinese company, right? So all of these different companies. So it's like a consortium. It's
Call it Quad
a
C.
Quad C.
Yeah,
You
Quad
like that?
C.
Okay, Quad C, right?
Or
Quad C.
4C. I don't know.
Mm,
Quad. I'd say quad. Quad C.
okay, but
So I'm confused. So all of these different um so these are multiple different these are that's basically the shareholders of the Jamaica North South Highway Company,
precisely.
but it's split up. Oh, but it
Yes.
doesn't tell you like the ownership structure,
No.
like who
It is a
owns what
private
percentage of the
company.
company.
We could possibly find it with deeper research. Maybe,
Mm.
maybe not, but yes.
Got it. The
Ultimately,
Quad
it's
C is a um public company,
in China.
So technically, if it is a yeah, they'd have to report it as like a subsidiary.
Okay. Uh,
I'll try look at it in the meantime. You
yeah, while
can.
Preston tries to possibly find some stuff on that. But basically, what the company is responsible for is
Mm-hmm.
financing, design, constructing, and operating the 66-kilometer toll road on a build, operate, transfer basis. So this is key, right? Build, operate, and then transfer. But transfer to who? And so when you keep reading, it says, and it was given a concession period of 50 years. Upon completion of the concession, the toll road was to be handed back to the government of Jamaica at no cost, right? So that's crucial. So after 50 years, they're collecting toll, they're operating, they're responsible for the operations of the entire highway, that North-South Highway or Edward Siaga Highway. And after 50 years, it goes right back to the government of Jamaica. and and as I say, at no cost. So they said China Harbor Engineering Company, which is the one we know. I think you'll see it when you're driving on the highway. You may see some of their machinery and stuff labeled there, but they're the contractor. They're the EPC contractor, and they told you when it started and so on and all of those other things. But I thought this was pretty cool because at the end of it all, it goes right back in the hands
Mm-hmm.
of the government. And we would be what? That's 2066. So we're thinking I'd probably be around what, 70 years old or something like that. Um, but I think this is a cool
Hold
play
on, you
for.
did the math on? So you said, because I think 9 years have. So I found the.
I would miss
Hold
70.
on, the China. Let's make it easy. Yeah, the China Communications Construction Company, which is the Quad C or whatever.
Oh wow, you read
So
Mandarin.
yeah, but they have they speak about the north, the south. Well, they call it the South North Highway. Interesting. They go from south to north. I was wondering why they call it. Interesting. But they actually mention stuff about accumulated. But I guess this is in the RMB thing you were talking about. What's the name of the currency?
I think it's renminbi.
Okay.
Yeah,
Operating revenue in the period 400 and total color. How much? Hold on. So
Chinese yuan.
427. That's 427 million.
Yeah, the renminbi.
How
It's
much is
also known as the
that?
Chinese yuan. So that's
Oh, it's not refreshing. Hold on. So 427 mil is about 60 mil US. So this is saying that the operating revenue in but this is for the 9 years, right? Operating revenue in the period, and then they said they have done 9 years so far. So that is, if each year was the same, without factoring in possible increase, the likely increase over time in the traffic, that'd be like just under 50 mil US in of revenues every year. I'm doing that math right?
I hope so. But I
South.
mean, so that's how much. Oh,
That's Jamaica only comes up once in a document.
okay.
But yeah, that's what I said. There's like a rabbit hole, I
That you
think.
can go into with this for sure. And
Yeah,
it
yeah.
I know you're trying to figure out how much they made because when you look at TransJamaica annually, their
Mm-hmm.
revenues last year were, 86 million US.
Mm-hmm.
And they control different areas too. So it's not just, Mandeville Lake, there's vineyards, there's that Portmore Lake as well. So
Mm-hmm.
it's different points compared to the North South Highway
Mm-hmm.
as well. But it's a good comparison because imagine if they do. I mean, somehow, suppose they actually acquire the North South Highway, that would be
Mm.
game changing for TransJam. That would probably be the only thing needed to send it to $10. Who knows?
Mm.
You know, um,
You think they could
and
buy it though?
well, I
Like, how much
don't.
do you think it would cost? Like, if they actually had to buy it, or if
If
they were
if
offered, or if they decided to buy it, how much do you think, like, something like that
well,
would cost?
if you look on that same, well, I'm not sure if it's in that same article, but they spoke about
Mm-hmm.
how much everything costs. So it costs about 600 million, around 600 million US, is what was financed by the Chinese banks and equity total. So we're thinking around 600 million US dollars that the highway
Mm.
was built for.
But that was back when.
2013.
But then, is there anything that would say like how much it actually ended up costing?
Uh, Not necessarily.
Because I know you can say a projection, but then.
Hmm. But you're asking me if it's feasible. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's not as feasible. I think it's a possibility. Let me say that. All right, because there are some hurdles that they'd have to go over in terms of like legal hurdles, and then of course financial hurdles.
Mm-hmm.
Like can TransJam even afford something like this?
Mm-hmm.
So they already the North South Highway, they already have some concession agreement, which would likely require government approval for any transfer
Mm.
to TransJamaica. And then are we looking at them acquiring it in the 50 years that they should be, the Chinese companies are building or BOT, build, own, build,
Mm-hmm.
operate, and transfer. So,
Mm-hmm.
in that model, before they actually transfer it in the 50 years, there must be some significant financial penalties, you know,
Mm.
for them to no longer be paying the Chinese government money. Ultimately, that's where the money
Mm.
goes.
Have you,
So,
you ever thought about like how like what do you think of when you hear the 50 years? What are you
mhm.
thinking?
I think that's kind of natural for a lot of those large infrastructure projects. So
Mm-hmm.
I've seen China do this same thing
No, but
in.
like if you heard,
Hmm.
I'm just thinking like that's from your perspective of doing research into like finance, but you realize if someone were just to say 50 years,
Hmm.
you'd be like, what? Like why couldn't it? Why should it should be like 5 years or 10 years?
Oh,
Like why isn't it that? But I guess no, it's like
well, they have to make the back their money. Not true.
that's the thing. It's like wait, but then the government, the Chinese
Hmm.
government, I guess when they were looking on that project, because think about it, essentially the if the government of Jamaica didn't have the money that it was like collecting through the revenues or the tax of the country,
Hmm.
if they couldn't afford to, if we couldn't afford to just buy the highway out, or yeah, if we didn't have to go to the Chinese to do it, then I guess we could have like done all of it ourselves. Like imagine if like I guess we were that kind of country that people would say, oh, we should, but then if you think about it, like how do you even get to that point? Like that's not easy. Or like on a turnaround, so it's like we have to get deals sometimes where ideally you'd want something more, but it's like because you don't have that kind of funding and that stuff, you
Yeah,
can't yeah, it's like you don't have as much saying power in the deal or as much power in the deal.
agreed. And I think one of the major things too is if we, let's say, got a shorter deal, if it wasn't 50 years, it was like 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
the company still has to make back the money that they invested into the infrastructure, which is the highway.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna try and make back that money in a shorter period of time. So their
Mm-hmm.
toll prices would probably be much higher than what they are currently. So that's also something to think about as well.
Mm. Like how
So
much do you think, because I'm just meddling, how if they did it for 50 years,
mhm,
trying to do the maths again. So if this says operating revenue in the period is what is 608, no, 427 million. How much US was that again? 60 bill or something like that? 60 million?
not sure. So
Trying to
you're
work. Oh
trying
yeah.
to,
Oh, sorry. I was saying that what I'm trying to do is like work on at the current run rate, how
mhm,
long does it actually even take for the Chinese company or whatever to recoup their investment? Because this is saying so far for the 9 years,
mhm.
the business has made 60 mil US on average in revenues.
60
Um,
million 9 years,
if I'm doing
and
that
they
conversion right,
and they the
so
the build cost was 600 mil US. They would hit their targets and get more.
so 60. No, think about that. 60 mil US. And if you did that, say they did that for the 50 years,
And that's assuming we're keeping the toll rates the same.
60 mil US times the 50 years, that is 3 billion US.
I don't know how. This is what per year.
60,
What?
60 mil US
Mm-hmm.
for the 50 years. If it were to say be 60 mil US on average, then you'd be
Uh-huh.
making 3 billion. Yeah, I think I'm doing that math right. 3 billion US.
I don't even have my phone with me, so I
But that's,
can't
hold on,
really.
that's operating revenue though. That's the thing. I'm doing like the calculator on the screen.
Okay.
So, but hold on, that's still, I don't know what the profit is though. So operating revenue, accumulated investment value. I don't know how do they account for something like this?
I'm not sure.
Because this is five, could they have it as 5.2 billion? Well, no, 5.2 billion RMB, which is then, yeah, the currency conversions
Mm-hmm.
are hitting me.
I
Yeah.
will say though, going back to the original point though, uh, I still think if TransJam were to purchase this or act, and the thing they'll be purchasing would be the
Mm-hmm.
concession agreement.
Mm-hmm.
They'd need to raise substantial financing. We're talking like
Mm-hmm.
hundreds of millions of US dollars through either,
Mm-hmm.
debt or new equity or something to fund some form of takeover. And
Mm-hmm.
at that point, to remember this agreement currently between let's say that it's really the Chinese government. It's also with the government of Jamaica, right?
Mm-hmm.
So legally, the government of Jamaica would have to consent to altering the existing concession.
Mm-hmm.
And then strategically they have to unify. I mean, it would work perfectly for TransJam because unifying the toll network under one operator, I think that could yield a lot of
Mm-hmm.
different synergies, right? Whether you're integrating tolling systems,
Mm-hmm.
and marketing as well. It's unprecedented in Jamaica, but I
Mm-hmm.
think it's definitely possible.
Could be a lot
So
more efficient, I guess.
it'd be a lot more efficient. I mean, there still has to be a lot more careful negotiation with the Chinese concessionaires, and
Mm-hmm.
you need Jamaican. I believe it would be probably cabinet approval, but hey, I think it definitely can happen. And who is to say, even if it's not within the 50 years, what happens to after the 50 years? What happens to
Mm-hmm.
the concession, when the highway goes back to the government of Jamaica?
Mm-hmm.
What do they do then? Because they've already divested one highway company. You think they
Mm-hmm.
did the same thing with the other highway company?
Mm-hmm.
Would TransJam at that time of divestment of the North-South Highway, would they take a significant stake in that company?
Mm-hmm.
It's possible. And how would
Mm-hmm.
they operate it as well? I think it's definitely possible. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so yes, there are hurdles, but I think it can be done. And that would be transformative because if they make currently, when you work it out, it
Mm-hmm.
was around what, 50 mil US per year at the North South Highway. This is an approximation. This is a rough
Mm-hmm.
approximation. But if TransJam
Mm-hmm.
is making currently 86 million US a year and they're making 50 US, and we don't know
Right.
yearly figures. We don't know yearly figures because we're just dividing the 9 years by the figure that we got from you.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be around 47 mil US, I believe. That's what we worked it out to. Who knows what the last couple of years have been like. They've probably been increased since the toll has been increasing. And the toll rates have actually been increasing, so they're probably making bank too. So we don't
Mm-hmm.
really know, but if it is comparable to what TransJam is making, imagine now TransJam buying another TransJam.
Mm-hmm.
That would do wonders for the stock price, absolute wonders. So, and then dividends would be would possibly be doubled. Who knows? It depends on how profitable that arm is, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just I think to think about
Mm-hmm.
sending TransJam to 10 because I definitely think that, you know, there's that potential of them acquiring the North-South
Mm-hmm.
Highway.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
outside of the North-South Highway, though,
Mm-hmm.
how else do you think we can, TransJam can actually get to $10?
So it could be like they could buy another highway. So you were mentioning
Another
like the
highway.
North-South Highway, which is like a Jamaican highway, but they could even technically buy a highway from, I don't know, in Puerto Rico, Dam Rep, suppose that's it. Like they're technically any. I wouldn't necessarily just limit them to. I would maybe say they could technically buy almost any highway in the world once it's
Hmm.
at a certain price, because they are, they're somewhat of a decently sized company. Like how much profit did you say they made last year? They made like 30 mil US in profit,
Hmm.
and they were able to pay out like what fifth, like half of that in dividends or so.
Yeah, it
How
was
much was it?
I'm not sure.
Hold on. So they paid. Let me check this. I want to fact check this.
Mhm.
This is cash flows. Hold on. Oh yeah, dividend. Yeah, 2024 they paid out 50 mil. Oh, the same as 2023. They didn't pay more for. Oh, but yeah, they pay. The business is throwing out 15 mil US in cash, so they're paying out half of the profits as dividends.
Mhm.
And even if you just look at what it's trading at, it's like 47 billion. That is, you buying it at, yeah. So the market is saying it's worth 300 mil, and they're paying out. Oh, nice. Yeah, 8 times earnings. Oh yeah, I was getting sidetracked. What were we talking about before?
I was just thinking about,
Oh yes,
TransJam.
the other highways. Yes. So I was
Hmm.
saying basically, financially, whatever, they are. I think like they're financially sound. They throw out lots of cash. They can take on. I'd say they could even take on more debt.
Hmm.
So if it was that there's a country and they're like, hey, a government needs to. Have you ever looked like, are there I was like, are there highways for sale in other countries?
That's not something I would Google at all, fam. But I will for sale. Dr. Sims, get your money up. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's possible. Uh,
Mm.
I wouldn't even look internationally though. I was even thinking locally, not necessarily highways for sale, but them
Mm-hmm.
expanding. Because TransJam does have expansion potential and future highway extensions. So the government, I wouldn't say TransJam's growth relies solely on acquiring existing roads, but as I said, it can
Mm-hmm.
expand the network through different projects.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the latest project that they did was that Mandeville Leg, right?
Mm.
Uh, Suppose they expand that even further, and the government of Jamaica actually stated that they could expand it even
Mm.
further.
So where would they
Let me.
expand it to?
They said, I'm going to share my screen. They actually said a couple places that they could expand it to, and one was in Saint Elizabeth. Actually, I'm gonna let you share screens. I'm gonna
Mm.
just send you something. But they said there's a place in Saint Elizabeth. I sent you on WhatsApp, but there's a place in Saint Elizabeth that they said that they wanted to expand. So the latest leg from Williamsfield in Manchester.
So how does it look on this? PM announces Williamsfield to Hodges leg.
Yes.
Williamsfield to Hodges.
Yes. So Hodges is actually a place in St. Elizabeth. And they actually, in that article, he states that, let me see if I can read it for you guys. So they spoke about the government planning to extend the southern
Hodges is
coastal
in where?
St. Elizabeth. I said the government plans to extend the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project further westward from Williamsfield in Manchester to Hodges in St. Elizabeth. And, I think this was 2023, March 20, 2023, that the Prime Minister actually stated this in the budget debate. And he was saying that, the scope of the project include improvements of the existing road infrastructure as well as putting bypass roads, but not just Mandeville, but Spur Tree, Junction, Southfield, and Black River, all those places in St. Elizabeth. And
Mm-hmm.
those bypasses are necessary to ensure they don't create bottlenecks which impede the flow of traffic and defeat the purpose, of building the highway. So, he noted that, of course, at that time, there was work being done on Maypen to Williamsfield. It was like 90% done. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you can find like, search Hodges on Google Maps
Yeah,
and
that's
search.
the drawing.
Actually,
Uh,
can I share screen?
elsewhere.
Oh,
Wait, I
perfect.
have.
You drew it.
Yeah. So you're
But what
saying
I
because right now it's Kingston. What's that road? It's Kingston to Old Harbour,
hmm
and then Old Harbour to Williamsfield,
Well,
and
there's actually
then
Maypen, and then Maypen to Williamsfield.
Oh, but where in Maypen? Oh, Maypen. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, that's a toll plaza.
So Old Harbour.
And then from so from Maypen to Williamsfield is the newest leg, and then they want to expand it even further from
Mm-hmm.
Williamsfield in Manchester to Hodges. And who is to say won't be other stops along the way? Of course, they probably do it piece. Hopefully not too
Oh,
many
so then could
pieces,
you
so we
then
don't spend too
connect?
much money.
Do you think they would then connect Hodges to? So if you want to go from like Hodges to Negril,
hmm
so Kingston to Hodges. Oh, Google Maps is so cool. Kingston to Hodges is 2 hours 42 minutes. Well, this is I guess at the current time. Um, let's call that 3 hours, and then I guess depending where you're going from, and then there to Negril is an extra hour.
It's more than an hour for sure.
Oh,
It's definitely more than an hour because I've driven from that section to Negril. It's
mm.
almost I
You
from
saying
even
Google Maps
Sav
is
to
wrong?
Negril. No, I'm not saying it's wrong. Is it actually an hour for you
Because this is
from
that's what this is saying from Kingston,
Hodges to
Old
Negril?
Kingston, so Kingston, Old Harbour, Maypen, Williamsfield, Hodges to Negril. This is saying it's 4 hours, and then the other one was a little on. Well, actually, no, it was like 1 hour. I was rounding up, so I think it was like 1 hour 20 minutes.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even from Sav to Negril is a decent little route.
But then the thing is to connect. So there's
Oh, that's
no
30
highway
minutes.
from
Never mind.
Hodges to Negril.
No, there's no highway. So the
So it's
whole
just a.
purpose, I
Mm-hmm,
think, what the government is doing is just connecting these major towns
mm-hmm.
via highway. So eventually, I do believe that Negril will be connected to Kingston with the same highway, the exact same highway, and I think that's the long-term
Oh.
play. And in my opinion, TransJam will be the one to operate that entire stretch. So, and it's
Mm.
all under this same project. So they call it the Southern, sorry, it's the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project. So,
So hold on,
the one phase
they announced they have specifically like announced it and confirmed that yes, it's we want to
go to Negril.
connect
No,
Saint to Negril.
no, they haven't actually said that. But the government
Oh,
announced from Manchester to Hodges and St. Elizabeth. And,
Manchester.
if
Well,
they,
from Williamsfield to
Williamsfield,
Hodges.
and yeah. So
Okay, so that's confirmed. But did they say how much that costed
no,
or
no, no, no,
timelines
no.
on it?
No. Well, maybe they did. I couldn't find anything on that because there were other things that the prime minister was saying.
Mm-hmm.
So because they said they spoke about different areas. They said this is just one step in the long-term plan to build out a fully connected road network across Jamaica that allows users to move seamlessly across the island. And
Mm.
they gave more data, and they actually said he noted that Sea Castles to Greenwood has the largest capacity deficit, and improving this corridor to 4 lanes, so that's on the north coast, would allow for an increase in the daily capacity to approximately about 40,000
Wait, can
vehicles.
you send me this one too?
It's the same one. It's just at the end of that same
Which
article,
article was this one?
the
The
JIS
title?
article.
No, as
PM
in I have.
announces Williamsfield to
Oh,
Hodges.
because there's a. Yeah, hold on. I'm getting confused. So it was announced early 2023, but there isn't any update on it. They're just saying, "Oh, we would do it eventually."
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm wondering if they've given up because that was 2023. So did they speak about it in the 2024 debate?
I can't
Cause I
recall if
be
I'm being
yeah. Cause
honest.
I want to see if I could get the timeline a bit more like if they gave so actually time it to say okay they're saying this they're saying this timeline like how many years would something like that take? I mean I guess how long did the Williamsfield to what's the name? Oh god, I forget again. I need to
Maypen to
look at it.
Williamsfield.
Yeah, how long did Maypen to Williamsfield take to build? I guess
Uh,
I'm like saying, okay, if that was say 10 but it's not that easy. But you could say, oh, if that was 10 kilometers, that took 3 years. This is
mhm.
30 kilometers, so but it's not so clear cut. But just the ballpark it, I guess.
Uh, I'm not sure, but there are even other things outside of just the Southern Highway that I was thinking of because even the North Coast too could
Mm-hmm.
use different highway. Like who is to say that we would use the same Chinese company to go from Kingston to Miami Bay in
Mm-hmm.
same time? I don't think they would use the same company. I think the only reason we went with that company is because
Mm-hmm.
I think the bid
What?
went to
Hold on,
other
I'm
different.
confused. You're saying they what? They wouldn't use.
I don't think they would necessarily use China Harbor or the CCCC, Quad
Uh-huh.
C, to expand the highway from Ocho Rios onwards to like Montego Bay because we
Why?
need that expansion. Why would they? They don't need
So
them.
who would do it
They,
then?
I don't see why TransJam wouldn't do it or we'd get it from. So, all right. Originally, who did Highway 2000 is probably the better question. Highway
Uh,
2000, I think, was done with a French
Which one is
company.
Highway 2000?
Boy, Preston, the fact that you don't know any of this is crazy to me. You
No, but
need to
which one
do
is Highway
some road
2000?
trips. I'm gonna take you on some road trips. See,
Which one is
definitely gonna
Highway
take you.
2000?
Highway 2000, that's,
Mm-hmm.
the from Kingston to like, let's say
Mm-hmm.
Kingston to Maypen. That's the highway. Like, Mandela Highway continued, that southern coast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when that came about, I think that contract was given to a
Oh,
French
you're saying
company.
Highway 2000 is Mandela Highway? Google Maps was helping me to actually see it and be like, okay, this one is this one is this. So like that
Mhm.
when I was like trying to, because it's very confusing to me, bro. I was going down a whole rabbit hole. I'm like, wait, what? This one said east west. This one said north south. This one said, yeah. I was just so confused with it. Um, so I was trying to get that, but then now you're basically saying that the they're gonna continue to develop, push the south coast. Because if you look at it, like on the map, you miss it. What they did, they connected Kingston to St. Catherine,
Mhm.
but specifically Old Harbour. Let me share my screen. So how I see it simply, Kingston was connected to St. Catherine. Then they extended it, connected St. Catherine to Maypen, or St. Catherine to Clarendon, but Maypen is in Clarendon, and then they connected Clarendon and St. Elizabeth
You mean
but specifically
Manchester?
Manchester, but
Hmm.
Williamsfield of Manchester. And then now you're saying they're going to connect um, Williamsfield, or they announced at some point that they would connect Williamsfield to Hodges, which is in St. Elizabeth. And then you're
Hmm.
even saying that what if they were to then extend from Hodges to something like Negril?
Yes.
And then,
So
I'm wondering,
so I think that's the real long-term play for TransJam
mm,
because I think at the end of the day, they're the
mm-hmm,
ones that are going to operate all those toll booths or that
mm,
entire route, that South Coast route. And it's still in
mm,
keeping with the government's plan of the,
mm-hmm,
as I said, the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project. So I think it's
mm,
a long term, a very long
mm-hmm,
term project, but
mm-hmm,
I think that's the overarching aim of the government to connect those areas. And I
mm-hmm,
think they will also use TransJam to do it because one, they already have the experience, the expertise. Two, the government used to own them with NROC, so the government knows TransJam. Three, it's for the people as
mm-hmm,
well, and the people can benefit from this. So I think if a progressive party would want to give them that, because think about it, even for the Williamsfield leg, TransJam is the one that got the right of first refusal.
mm-hmm.
So even when you think about that, who's to say they won't get right of first refusal for the other legs that will, you know,
See,
eventually
wait,
be developed?
even something like that, I meant we should, because you meant the whole South Coast, because they're doing the development on the southeastern side, which is like St. Thomas and Portland.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, you could essentially drive easily or somewhat easily. I mean, it would take, or almost like a lot of it would be a highway from Negril to Port Antonio. So from Negril to Portland, so you could drive along. Eventually, you'd want like the whole. I guess you'd want a highway technically through all of it. I'm
Yeah,
thinking
and
about
I think,
all of the different highways too.
and from a government and an engineering perspective, I mean, when you think about
Mm-hmm.
development, right? You
Uh-huh.
kind of want your major towns and cities to be connected, not just for, people to commute, but businesses as well, right? Making
Uh-huh.
businesses more efficient. You want the ports to be connected. You want Mumbai Port and Kingston Port to be connected at some with a highway or two, you know? So when I think about even something like that, right
Uh-huh.
now, the major issue, in my opinion, is,
Mm-hmm.
well, a major issue is the North Coast. And I don't know if you've seen it from all the other parties that go on in Ochi weekend and some fest, but really it's Ochi and best
Mm-hmm.
weekend ever. It came on the news where
Mm-hmm.
one particular party, they actually
Mm-hmm.
blocked the road for hours. And
Mm-hmm.
imagine you're Ocherios, Montego Bay, and that entire road is blocked.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose you had a flight to catch that day and you just couldn't, and you were sitting in traffic for like 5 hours
Mm-hmm.
trying to get from Ocherios to Montego Bay. It would drive you
Mm-hmm.
insane. And the
Mm-hmm.
real reason I think that happens is because the road, for majority of that road, it's two lanes. It's one going down and one coming back up
Mm-hmm.
in opposite
Mm-hmm.
directions in parallel. So to get a real development up there, you need at least two lanes on either side. All right. So you need two lanes
Mm-hmm.
going from Ochi to Mobe, and you need two lanes going back from Mobe to Ochi.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so at that point, I think that we really got the Chinese company to help us develop, um, the North South Highway or Edward Siaga Highway because of their
Mm-hmm.
expertise in that. It was a very difficult project. If you notice, the road it's steep at some angles, it's very steep. Um, I think the bid was given to another company and they rejected it, saying it wasn't feasible. I think that's a French company.
Really?
You guys yeah, guys in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't think the
Hold on.
Chinese
They
were
rejected. Oh wow, I didn't know that.
yeah. But this is anecdotal stuff. I haven't actually done research. Or maybe I read it once. It's in the back of my mind though. I know the bid wasn't only to the Chinese for that highway. So if they were to develop that whole northern strip from Ocho Rios to Montego Bay,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a huge opportunity for TransJamaica Highway. I honestly believe that's a huge opportunity because they could also
Mm-hmm.
operate that segment as well. That's more
Mm-hmm.
toll to them. If
Mm-hmm.
it becomes even a toll road, that's just another thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't think they need to necessarily expand outside of Jamaica, going back to our original point. I think
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of opportunities here in Jamaica as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, because we're still on this whole prosperity path and developments
Mm-hmm.
and XYZ. So whichever government comes into power, I think whether, whichever government, they're still going to be on, heavy infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
um, expenditures and so on, just to develop Jamaica in that way. Because even other countries in the Caribbean, it, like Trinidad. Trinidad has a well-developed highway. They just don't really have toll. It's shocking to them when they come to Jamaica and they're paying toll, and they're like, "You have to pay toll again and again." But they don't really pay toll like that. Like not all their
Mm.
major roads. I don't know if they do pay toll. They might pay toll at one toll booth. I can't remember. But I remember paying toll when I was in Trinidad, and we were driving all over the place. You know,
Mm-hmm.
north, south, all over the place. So yeah, but.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the North Coast, also that corridor, and remember we have a big tourism focus right now, and that area, as I said, faces a lot of congestion.
Mm-hmm.
So a public-private partnership to widen the North Coast Highway, from not just Miami Bay St. Anne, but all the way to
Mm-hmm.
Sea Castles in St. James. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's definitely something that can be done. I know there were I don't know if there was any tender. Let me see if I can find an article. Because I read something once in the budget debate. I think this
Mm-hmm.
was 2024's budget debate.
About what, sorry?
I'm going to share my screen again,
Wait, send it to
just
me. Let
because
me share.
I don't know if you can see this, because it's a particular page in the budget itself. See if I can
Mm.
find it. It's actually a document I have downloaded. Let me see if I can send it to you though, so that you can share. Uh, but this was from the 2024. But basically, it's the Prime Minister talking about the North Coast Highway specifically, and he says, and I'll quote it,
Which page is that,
uh,
sorry?
page 29, the end of page 29.
Oh.
There's a point where he's talking about TransJamaica Highway, which operates East Coast, all of that. But when he scrolls at the bottom, he talks specifically about the North Coast Highway. And he says, Madam Speaker, I now turn to the North Coast Highway. The North Coast Highway Public-Private Partnership will see the expansion of the North Coast Highway from Sea Castles in St. James to Miami Bay in St. Anne from 2 lanes to 4 lanes. As part of the due diligence process, a number of studies have been completed, including traffic studies, as well as environmental and social impact studies. The requisite documentation is now being compiled with an aim to launch the tender process in the fourth quarter of the calendar year. Don't know if this actually was done, something I do need to check up on. Um, but it was tabled, it was announced, and so on. So yes, you get to see it. So yeah, that level of expansion. I mean, who's to say TransJam wouldn't get that? So yeah, government already endorses the expansion. So let's see. Let's see.
Well, it was Sea Castles to
To
about
Miami
Miami
Bay.
Bay.
Hmm.
So that currently is, say, drive on the A1, that's an hour and 14 minutes. Well, at this time. Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
about this. So this is different from. There's so many stuff going on because there's also like the whole Montego. You understand the Montego Bay bypass road thing? That
Is that
development?
to Lucy? There's a Lucy bypass,
I I don't know.
I
It's
think.
called Montego Bay bypass. That's what I've seen.
Uh, I'm not entirely familiar with it.
Yeah. So I don't really know my bay well, so it's like I feel like even understanding that a bit
Same.
different.
The first time I went to Mobay we only went to Mobay once this year.
Ah.
Uh, and I haven't been to Mobay in maybe like probably before the pandemic, before that. So I
Mm.
hardly ever go to Mobay.
Because see I can go from so Miami Bay, this is say Miami Bay to Sea Castles and Sea Castles into my bay. Well, that's 2 hours 49 minutes.
Yeah,
Oh.
almost 3 hours. And I think there's a lot of congestion at different points on that whole strip because it's basically, you know, one lane,
Uh-huh.
but it's two lanes if we're calling it that. But yeah, it definitely needs an expansion, especially if the government is doubling down on tourism. Definitely needs an expansion.
Guess I was trying to match it up here. So this is saying I don't know if you see my screen. Hold on, let me can I
I can
full
see it
screen this?
now.
Oh, it's so blurry. It says this road. Huh? Oh, Montego Bay bypass. This is October 2017. And then it's a Long Hill bypass.
Oh, I know of that.
Oh, I think I get
No.
it now. So instead of going from here, you could bypass going through the city and then go around here to go to. Oh.
Then maybe connect from there to Negril or Lucy. I'm not sure.
Hmm. Yeah. And there's also a Long Hill. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff I guess to look there. Oh, look at this. This costed 200. When you look at the size of these projects, it's insane. Costed 274 million US
Mm.
for the Chinese company to make the Montego Bay Perimeter Road project.
Oh, they're the ones that did that. The China Harbor
Yeah,
Engineering
that's what I'm saying.
Company.
They use it. They use them for. Okay, if they use them for this, or they're gonna use them for, or
Hmm.
they're using them for this, and then they're also use them for the north south,
Hmm.
and then they use them for east west too, or no? Uh,
Well, I don't think so, no.
mm,
Yeah. I think another thing though that will always be in favor of, you know, Trans Jamaica is the toll rate increases.
mm,
So, they based on the agreement that they have,
mm-hmm,
they can actually review the toll rates yearly, I believe. They're actually entitled to annual rate increases.
mm-hmm,
So, I don't know if you saw the recent toll increases, Preston, but I think it's
oh,
around it's end of summer, so it's usually like July, August that
mm-hmm,
you see them start to look at increasing the toll.
mm-hmm,
The same thing happened the year before that. 2023 toll adjustments happen. They usually range from 5 to 10% increase, which to me is kind of crazy because that's higher than inflation,
how much
you know,
percent?
5 to 10%. They generally range around from 5 to
Mm,
10%. I saw though that I think there's a 9 to 10% jump. Let me see if I can find it. There's a Gleaner article that, or an Observer article. I'm gonna send it to you, where they actually calculated the increase in the toll rate, and well, this was old. This was last year. It was something I was looking at last year. The new ones are out this year, but some of the increases were up like 10% year over year,
Mm.
or 9%. Yes, it's some up 10%.
You realize that they're extending from. Oh, well, no. Finish your point.
Oh, yeah. So, okay. So, I think as a company,
Uh huh.
if you are raising your prices and beating inflation, you're already winning as a company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then as an investor in that company, if my dividends are also going up and beating inflation as well,
Mm-hmm.
um, that to me, that just sounds like another path to profit. Because when you think about it, when you analyze certain companies, you look
Mm-hmm.
at how much profits they're making, you look at their revenues year over year and so
Mm-hmm.
on. And if there isn't anything significantly,
Mm-hmm.
you want to see growth. You always want to see growth as an investor. And so if it is that the toll rates are reviewed on an annual basis, not every
Mm-hmm.
5 years, this is every single year. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying they are raised every year, but suppose they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can, and barring any other, external shocks, anything else, if the traffic stays as it is, if it's the same amount of cars on the road that are traversing the
Mm-hmm.
toll and so on, you can expect revenues to increase. And so you could theoretically also expect profits to increase year over year. And so I think
Mm-hmm.
that's why this stock looks so attractive to a lot of people for that for that reason as well. Because you can
Mm-hmm.
expect toll to increase and so on. You can expect them to make more money and more profits and so on. That was
Mm-hmm.
just my point. You had a point?
Mm-hmm. Um, one of the things I was thinking about doing, you realize you could project what kind of dividends they'd have to be paying out to justify, in some ways, or to some people, what would make it like a $10 stock.
Hmm.
So I was thinking, okay, the price, if the dividend that the company is paying out is like a really, really good yield, so you're getting a lot of your money back. So you put $100,000 in, you're getting $10,000 back every year. And as you mentioned, even like the $10,000 even increases over time, even if you don't buy back shares,
Hmm.
possibly paying out even more. So the 1 year is 10,000. The next year you get 12,000 back. The next year you get 13,000, 50, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and then the markets, I guess people will tend to like higher dividend yielding companies. And if the
Hmm.
yield of the stock keeps going up, keeps going up, keeps going up, it's like, especially if it's something that's sustainable, it's like, okay, at some point, it's almost like there's a somewhat of a cushion on the, I guess, how low the price in some ways could drop, or theoretically that should happen.
I get
So
you.
so then I
Because
said,
you'll always
okay.
be met with certain demand. Like people want this stock
Mm-hmm.
because they're
Mm-hmm.
paying consistent dividends and the dividends are high.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So not even just, well, not even just that. They're just looking at it from the point of like an investment, and they're saying, like, think about it. If people would say, oh, say there's someone who's like they want to invest their money in a bond, or they want to lend their money to someone, or they want to buy a stake in the company equities, then if say bonds, which is supposed to be lower risk, if the bonds are giving you 5%, but then this company here is giving you 10% in dividends and has been increasing it for like every year or whatever, then it's like it makes they're like, hey, that would shift more people to that.
Mhm.
So I guess even from the perspective of like kind of investment. So basically I'm saying that like, okay, I think because I was working it out, if it's 10, so if the company's trading at $10, if you buy the shares at $10, I was thinking like a 5% yield. on the money
Mm-hmm.
back. So you put in 100,000, you get $5,000 back every year, for as long as you decide to hold the company, and you get it twice. You don't get $5,000 one time; you get like 2,525.
Mm-hmm.
Then the the 5%. So $10 would be 50 cents a share in dividends. And then how much that 50 cents is based on the amount of shares they have. Let me do the math quickly. So they'd have to. How much is that? 50 cents a share. So they'd have to be paying out six. Oh, the currency conversion is on. They'd have to be paying out 40 mil. Well, actually, I could just simplify that. Why am I confusing myself? Think about it. Okay, they paid 2024. They paid, I see about 0.1895 cents. So let's just call that 20 cents to
Okay,
be easy.
for sure.
Yeah. And essentially, you'd want them to be paying out 50 cents per share.
Mm-hmm.
Or even another way to measure that, you could measure it by the cents per share, or you could is that easier to use, cents per share, or the amount of money that they actually pay out for the dividend?
Cents per share is fine for me because if I know I have a certain amount of money, then I just like if I have 100 shares, I just
Uh-huh.
multiply it by 100 and know how much I'm getting. So if it's 20
Uh,
cents per share and I have 100 shares, just
mm-hmm.
multiply the 20 cents by 100, or I would convert it to dollars in my head,
Uh-huh.
and that's $0.2, and so multiply that by 100, so that's $20.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So for me, I like the cents per share and how it's reported when you see a dividend notice is in cents per share, or
Uh-huh.
whatever the price is per share.
Uh-huh.
So I prefer. I don't know how you know our audience thinks, but that's how I think about it.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, comment below which one you prefer. As mentioned, it's basically they paid out 15 mil US in dividends
Hmm.
2024. They could pay out, I think they likely will pay out more this year. So that'd be them doing like possibly up to 20 mil US. And essentially they need to reach a point that they could, if they were paying out 50 mil US in dividends a year, that would give you like a 5% yield at a $10 price. So someone could
Mm.
look at it and say, oh, they could look at it at like someone looking at it now is like, oh my gosh, how TransJam is not like, I could say, yo, Theon, TransJam is worth $10. It's a $10 stock. You
Yeah.
need to buy this. It's at $10. Or no, sorry, it's worth $10, but it's trading at today is 375. Your money could more than double. Let's call that $4, I guess, when you buy with fees. So your money could double. And then that person could say, yo, you're crazy, Theon. It's not worth $10. Um, but then, if you saw the things that could then lead to them making so much money that they could pay out 50 mil US per year, or they could essentially more than just so a little over double their dividends,
Hmm.
then um then you might say, hey, I'm gonna buy this because I think like you could do that. That's why I was trying to do the math a bit earlier, because that makes it like feasible to me. So it's like, okay, if they need to double their dividend, they need to make more like 20 over 20 mil more in
You're reverse
uh
engineering it. So you are taking
yeah,
the stock price of $10 and you're asking
yeah,
how much dividends do they need to pay to justify a
yeah,
stock price of $10?
yeah.
And well, you could also take it from profits as well too, because they
Mm-hmm.
pay out half of their profits in dividends, basically. That's what they have
Mm-hmm.
been kind of doing. So
Mm-hmm.
right now their profits last year were what, 31 mil? So if
Yeah.
you need 50 mil profits, you need if you need 50 million dividends for them to pay out, and that 50 mil is gonna get them to that $10 stock. You
Mm-hmm.
need their profits to be double the 50 mil, which
Mm-hmm.
is 100 mil profits. So then you start to think what could make them move from the
Well, they
31
could
mil that they're
either
making now.
So you
So
could do
that
that, but then you could also change the ratio. So they could, because there are other companies that pay out higher percentages.
true.
So there could be a route where, okay, overall you'd want them to make more revenues, more profits, but then they could also just pay out a higher percentage of the profits as the dividend. So imagine they make 100 million, they
True.
pay out 90 million dividends. So I was trying to
And
do the math, like to say, because you meant how, like, looking at the fact that you could see some of that data on the North South Highway company, you could then, like, I'm sure there's probably even more digging. I feel like at some
mhm,
point they have to tell you, there's probably a way that you could work out or estimate like the profit that they're making from that. And then you could say, wait, how much would you have to buy that for? Okay, how much would they sell that for? Oh, wow, that actually is very feasible, or it's not feasible, or whatever.
mhm.
I feel like in some way there is probably some sort of way that it becomes feasible.
You know what you just made me think of? There
Mm,
is a there's a part in their prospectus that they speak
mm-hmm,
about the dividend policy and that
mm,
something about dividends. I need to
mm-hmm,
find it, but that the dividends would increase in different tranches in different like time periods. So they actually give time
mm,
periods where they would increase the dividend
mm-hmm,
um by a certain amount. I need to find I'm going to find that somewhere in the prospectus. But it was literally mentioned in the prospectus.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I think I know what you're
yeah, it's
talking about.
possible they could increase the yield if they want. And at that point, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would rush to the stock. A lot of
Mm-hmm,
people would rush to the stock.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean
Would
I
you
see
buy
why
it now
even
though?
would I buy it? Well, I see why pensions are buying it too, because when you think about it from the perspective that we have right now as a longer term play, as the fact that the highway can only, they may buy more highways or they may develop more highways or so on and earn
Mm-hmm,
from different highway segments. They may increase toll rates, all of those things, and they're consistently paying dividend. Then I can see why a pension would want to put money into the stock. It just makes sense
mm-hmm,
for them. It's good cash flow as well. They might think it's a risk-free or safe bet. It's never really risk-free, but a safer bet, I should say,
mm-hmm,
as a stock. And then
mm-hmm,
when you think about even pensions now, and you look at
mm-hmm,
the top 10 of TransJamaica Highway, guess
mm-hmm.
who moved to number one? National Insurance Fund. So
Oh,
yeah, the
okay.
National Insurance Fund actually is the number one
Mm-hmm.
shareholder. They
So the
own
Jamaican people.
7%. hmm So the Jamaican people own, and I mean, when you look at number two, this is what's, is this SJIML? I believe
Oh, let me
that's
share my screen.
Sagicor as well.
Sagicor is Scotia.
SJ, I could be, is it Scotia though? I'm not sure. Mm, I need to find them again. SJ, I know Scotia does a lot of those kind of things, and they're fourth in Scotia too.
Mm-hmm.
I can probably look it up later. No, that's it. Good question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think I can see why a lot of pensions would love this stock. This is Sagicor, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm almost sure this is Sagicor. I could be wrong, but hey, guys, comment if you guys know which company this is. I'm almost sure this is Sagicor.
Can I see something? Can I found something acronym?
Mm-hmm.
She's saying acronym finder SJIML. SJIML. Scotia Jamaica Investment Management Limited.
Yeah, because they are number four in Scotia too. Yeah, you're right.
Mm,
And even when you look at the rest of TransJam though, like it's just you
mm,
see
okay.
NCB all over it. You see Guardian Pool pension funds.
Mm-hmm,
You see a lot of managed funds. ATL Group Pension Fund is number four. Mustang is up there as well. So you can
mm,
see a lot of even pensions are in top 10. So
mm-hmm,
and they love that cash flow. They love those dividends.
mm,
So yeah. It's another thing I was thinking of though, because
mm-hmm,
there are I said the word risk free a while ago. I mean, no investment is risk free. And I think even TransJam itself as a company, as nice as all of what we said sounds good, and this isn't financial advice. There are still things that can derail that. Another point, because you actually said the railway at the
Mm-hmm.
starting of the episode. Because
Mm-hmm.
yes, TransJam at that section of Jamaica, the South Coast, they enjoy like a near
Mm-hmm.
monopoly on that
Mm-hmm.
travel. They have to keep an eye on alternative transport initiatives that could impact toll road traffic,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because imagine you get paid per
Mm-hmm.
vehicle that goes through the toll plaza.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose the amount of vehicles are less, and that could be, as we said, with the railway. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if you saw, there has been some railway revitalization, I would say, because,
No. Where you saw
well,
that?
as in at least talks of it. So, it's been dormant for decades, but there
Mm-hmm.
have been plans to bring back like
I'm saying
commuter.
where you
I'm gonna,
saw
I'm gonna send you. But there have been talks of, bringing back those kind of things like commuter travel and even freight trains in certain corridors. And of note is the Kingston Spanish Town Old Harbor commuter rail service. So that the government has been exploring through different like pilot programs.
mm,
Uh, I saw even a TikTok once on it. Um, yeah, TikTok, yo, trust me, bro, that's a great platform. Great platform. It's funny because some of my patients actually get their medical advice from TikTok. I hear it
mm,
all the time. But please don't do that.
mm.
But it's always good to just be cognizant of what they speak about. And I guess you want to share the article?
Oh, I found another one I'd share after too. Hold on.
Okay, perfect. But this was May 10, 2023, where
Hold on. Let me have to pull
uh,
it up.
that's fine. I'll speak in the meantime. But the title is The Government Looks to Revive and Expand the Railway Service. And, it's the same area that I was speaking about, Kingston to Spanish Town, Old Harbor, and it would move thousands of commuters daily, is what they're saying. And so you saw where Minister Adishaw advised the Jamaica Railway Company, JRC, suffered a loss of 20 million, you know,
Mm.
and they just spoke about the different studies to assess demand. And, this figure right here, the discussions are currently underway to expand the commuter rail service to transport over 5,000 workers daily from Old Harbor to Spanish Town, then on to Angels and
And
Linston
how
to
many people are in
Angel.
Portmore?
God knows. Too many. Too many.
Mm.
Portmore population, there's an estimate of 102,000, but
Mm.
official figures, I
Do
need
you
to
like the
find
train?
statin.
Have you go on like trains?
I'm actually seeing one that says 156,000. Do I like the train? Yeah, I don't mind the train. Here's my thing.
Mm.
I'm pro public transport because one, it decreases the amount of cars on the road once we have an efficient public transport system. Two, I mean, I wouldn't need to be buying as much gas. It would probably work out cheaper. And I can do things at the same time while on a public transport. So if I'm on a train, I could
Uh-huh.
literally be reading something at the same time. I can't do that while driving. You get me?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
would definitely take the train. I mean, I used to take bus too. I used to take the JUTC. It's like a 47 and then the
Mm.
900. And yeah, man, I used to take
Where they go?
47 passes close to my house. So it's off Malines Road, and to
So you
halfway
take it
tree.
from as you leave school.
I'd
This
leave my
was
house, sorry,
this
and
was
go to
Woolmouth or
school.
Camp. Oh,
Yeah.
this is to
So
go Campion.
Campion. Yeah, Campion. So
Oh, which
I'd
one?
leave
Uh-huh.
in the mornings, take a 47 off Malines Road to halfway tree, and I'd take the 900. There are other buses I could have taken too, but I remember taking the 900 and then stopping off Hope Road and
Mm.
walking to Campion. So yeah,
Mm.
and then that commute back. Or sometimes I'd take a taxi, but the bus was definitely cheaper back in the day. Yeah. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, bro, the bus system for me, It. There's a huge discourse online, and I don't know if I can find my tweet. I'll probably share it. But somebody was asking about, like, should they were basically stating that the JUTC has been making a lot of losses and so on. And then I asked the question, does the JUTC need to be a profitable entity? Because in my opinion, most public transport companies in the world are not profitable entities. So yes, you can mitigate a lot of the losses. You can minimize the losses, I should say. Better word. Can definitely
Mm-hmm.
minimize the amount of losses. And the I would say the JLP has been doing that over the
Mm-hmm.
years. The losses have significantly decreased. This proper, just making things a bit more efficient. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily think that, it needs to be. I found my tweet actually. Yeah, I asked, does public transportation need to be a profitable entity? And,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. And I think it has so much benefit to Jamaicans on a
Mm-hmm.
whole. Now, the railway system, which would also be public transport, would also have that same benefit. Now, if I was a TransJamaica shareholder and looking on something like that and that development,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be thinking if less people are driving, more people are taking the trains and the railways and so on, that eats into my profits. That could be a big no-no for me.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start to see certain things like that,
But
as a
someone else
shareholder,
could think differently though.
what do you mean?
So okay, you you're definitely right that okay, you're saying essentially this the people that live in Portmore that then drive into Kingston instead of them
This
driving.
isn't Portmore, by the way. This is Spanish Town and um
Oh, okay,
Old
so you'd
Harbor.
still have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, Portmore a bit
Oh,
different. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is real. Yeah, it's railway a medicine. So it's more Spanish Town and Kingston.
oh, hold on. So, but then what's the population of?
Spanish
But
Town.
in terms of the people that use the highway, though, is it more people that live in Spanish Town or more people that live in Portmore?
Uh well, Portmore Toll Plaza is definitely very profitable. They have a lot more traffic. So I would probably say Portmore. And then when you look at the population of
Hold on. So
Spanish
you're
Town,
saying most of the revenue of
uh,
TransJam actually comes from people who live in Portmore versus people that live in um, St. Catherine or Old Harbour.
well, St. Catherine, Portmore is in St. Catherine. Old Harbor, I would say, yeah, because there's a higher population size in Portmore than Old Harbor. Portmore has way more people than Old Harbor.
So
But when you think about this, is just one article talking about at least 5,000 commuters
no,
going from.
no. What
Wait,
I
what
was
was your
saying,
question? Yeah.
okay, what I was saying is, I don't know if I'm getting a bit confused. So you're saying you're mentioning from the perspective of a shareholder who sees he owns shares in TransJamaica. He bought maybe IPO, maybe bought a bit after IPO, and he's seen his price is up. Say the stock is today is $3, almost $4. So he's seeing it at $4. Maybe his average price is $2. His money has doubled. He's got dividends for the last few years. He's made his
Mhm.
money. Investing is working out for him. You're saying that if he would then see the article that says, "Oh, Jamaica confirms," or Jamaica announces, or Andrew Hone, whatever, announces that the a high or no a train
Mhm.
will be built connecting Kingston to Spanish Town and then Spanish Town to Old Harbour. So it's connecting basically Kingston to those two parts of St. Catherine, right?
Yes,
And you were saying that, oh, that would be something to look out for because then could that then affect um, TransJam's revenue
correct.
significantly? But what you're saying is that TransJam's revenue, most of it actually comes more from people that live in Portmore St. Catherine versus people that live in Spanish Town and Old Harbour St. Catherine, right?
Yes.
So that's what I was saying. I was like, but
But
then
it would
say
still
that
have an
because
impact.
I know,
You
but
don't think
hold
it
on,
would still?
no, that's not,
Oh,
no.
okay.
Hold on,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
just
Go ahead. Go ahead.
hold on. What I'm saying is that if the share
Mm-hmm.
price were to then say someone looking at it is
Mm-hmm.
scared and they panic when they do that, they
Mm-hmm.
could then sell their shares down. Suppose they're like, yo, I want to sell, and they're like, yo, sell it down 20%.
Mm-hmm.
You are like, oh my gosh, TransJam, like, depending on how like the news or media or whatever, how they talk around that. If enough people connect that to say, oh, like say the headline literally says TransJam to lose, possibly to lose or whatever, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, yeah, what I'm saying is that the share price could drop 30%. So like, yes, what you're saying is that it could be kind of bad because like, oh, they could get a bit more revenue, but it's an example, I guess. So the share price drops 30% because it's
Oh,
the
let's
value
say
is
okay.
people,
Let's say the
the
share price.
expectation is
Mm-hmm.
30% bad, but it's actually
Yes.
10% bad. So I'm
Yes.
like, it's not that bad. It's like, oh, I mean, it's not bad, but it's like, okay, I just buy.
Okay. But let's say no, the government says yes, we're investing heavily into the railway, railway system, and they're
Mm-hmm.
doing what they're doing now, but even better, where they have like bus systems where they're
Mm-hmm.
investing more into public bus transit, into let's say
Mm-hmm.
Kingston and metropolitan region, but suppose they expand that, right? Suppose it's
Mm-hmm.
more express buses from Portmore to Kingston.
Mm-hmm.
Now that could have also a massive effect because
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking yes, there's railway, but there's also JUTC and other buses, right? Because imagine me, I would go. Imagine if I just have to take one bus because they opened up a Mandeville to Kingston bus
Mm-hmm.
transit now, right? And I don't
A
remember how much money it was.
Mandeville to
Kingston, yeah, I don't remember how much money it was. It was less
really?
than 500, I believe.
But
Yeah,
where?
and this is
Oh,
public.
so it
This is
drives through
public.
the highway.
Yes.
Oh, how much does it
Now,
cost?
before, I don't remember how much it cost. I remember it being less than $500 though, or maybe around five. You could probably Google it and find it. I know Daryl Vaz tweeted it.
This was this year.
Minister. Yes, this year, recently,
Oh,
in
oh,
like
I see
maybe
it.
a
New
month ago or so.
routes. Oh, let me share this. New route from Mandeville to Kingston to launch Monday. This was July 25th. So this should have
There we
happened
go.
already.
Leads.
93 new buses. Blah, 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 blah. Route 512. Oh, fares as low as $250 going up to $600. So under grand.
Mhm.
3 routes each day from Mandeville to downtown Kingston. Oh, like 3 time. When you say routes, you mean more time?
Yeah, I think it's probably 3 different times for like morning, noon. It's either
Oh, 5:45. So I guess you could
AM.
reach work. How
Mhm.
long would it take, I guess? 5:45, 10 a.m., 3:10 p.m. Another thing is that people come in, departures from. Oh, interesting.
So imagine now, right? Either you used to commute, meaning take like drive from Mandeville to
Mm-hmm.
Kingston, or you take the bus. Now the bus can hold a lot more people than your car can. And suppose you used to take a taxi then, or even a coaster bus. The
Mm-hmm.
JUTC bus can hold a lot more people than either one of those options, whether it's a coaster, whether it's a taxi, whether it's you're driving. So it's less vehicles traversing the toll plaza.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Mm-hmm.
is theoretically less revenue to TransJam on a whole. So there are multiple points where, you know, their revenues can be affected, but I want you to pull up the next article because I think this hits a different point that I sent you. So I sent you another article, and this one is very interesting that I found because it's protection for TransJam, which I didn't really realize was a thing until I did this deep dive. And then I
This
saw
is
that,
old. Well, it's like old ugly or something.
Yeah,
So
TransJam is
Trans Jamaica
entitled to compensation for any.
loses rights. Oh, sorry, go.
Wait, is it that one? Let me let
The
me
one that said
let me
Trans
find.
Jamaica loses right to road rival compensation.
Yes, yes, that one. And if you scroll down, I highlighted it for you.
Oh, how did you do this? How did it
I'll
highlight?
magic. It's in the link. I'll show it for you. But TransJam actually can be
What?
entitled
No,
to
no, no. What?
compensation.
How did you highlighted it before sending it to me?
Yeah,
How?
I'll show you off air. It's gonna take
No,
some time.
show.
I'll show you
It's an
off air. I'll show you.
extension.
Uh, no, I'll show you off air. I'll show you off air. I promise.
Okay.
However, getting back to the episode, um, yes, all of these things, and they're speaking about the railway link between Spanish Town and Kingston, but NROC must compensate TransJam for loss of revenue if the Jamaican government or any party contracted or assigned by the government develops a new rail public passenger link between, Spanish Town and Kingston. And I thought that was crazy. But can you imagine TransJam and being entitled to compensation for any resulting revenue loss? There's actually a clause. So if you look, they're actually TransJam is contractually protected to an extent,
Mm-hmm.
based on the concession agreement with the government, or its assignee if it develops a new public passenger rail. So that's so interesting. Imagine the government say, "Yo, progress, we're going to invest billions, tens of billions into this new railway project and so on."
Mm-hmm.
But in developing that, they also have to pay TransJam for possible loss of, you know,
Mm-hmm.
revenues. To me, that's kind of crazy, but that's the contract you sign with the company, and it
But you're saying
protects
it's
the
crazy
company.
because what?
No, I just think it's crazy because the government would have to fork out money to TransJam for the lost revenue, and also they're investing in this railway project. So I just thought that was kind of crazy. That
Mm-hmm.
contractual agreement and so on. I just think it's kind of cool that they have that, to offset
Mm-hmm.
losses. That's good risk planning on TransJam.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are certain things in, as a shareholder of TransJam that I would like to. I'm not a shareholder, by the way, not currently. I'm in and out every now and again. But if I was a shareholder, those are some of the things I would look for when I'm thinking about those kind of risks, because
Mm-hmm.
that's a real possibility that, the government does build out alternate routes and so on. And,
Mm-hmm.
TransJam could definitely be affected. But if there are things that can protect TransJam's revenues, then it's less likely for. And you imagine you gave a scenario about an investor seeing this railway project and then decide to sell. But imagine now somebody like
Mm-hmm.
me who has done the research and realized they could actually get paid for this too as
Mm-hmm.
well. And I don't know.
Or once again, even if it's so, say they would get normally 10 mil US
Mhm.
and they're getting 80% of that. The compensation deal, I'm guessing it would be they would probably use what they previously were getting and use that as an estimate. So they probably wouldn't compensate them for all of it. So it's like, okay, you're getting 10
True.
mil. You used to get 10 mil US from this because more people are using this other road or this train or whatever. So we can't give it a 10 mil, but we can give it 8 mil or
Mhm.
70 mil or 7 mil or whatever, like a percentage of that. Um, it's a question again of, okay, quantify that with the business. So you look at, okay, how much money they're making. So basically, it's going to make them make 10% less money, but the stock price is down 30%, or that's where I guess how I was thinking about it.
Yeah,
That any of
that's
these
not a bad way.
news, like I try to, I guess, quantify it. So
Hmm.
yeah.
How much could they lose? There's a
Mm-hmm.
thing in project management where you do that. It's a probability and impact risk assessments or something like that. So you could actually, yeah, you calculate, okay, the actual loss is this, but the stock price is this stuff. Yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
just, yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
pretty, that's how I would take it as well. I would also
Mm-hmm.
do the calculations based on that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, well, yeah, man, like that was just a real, I thought that I had because I was looking at, what other things can affect Trans Jamaica and so on. But
Mm-hmm.
this episode is still about, TransJam going to $10. I think
Mm-hmm.
another point about TransJam possibly going to $10 is a
Mm-hmm.
buyback. I think
Mm.
a buyback would also allow TransJam to drive the stock to $10, and so right now, what TransJam has, 12.5 billion shares outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look historically, I'm trying to find it. I don't know if you know Preston, but
Mm-hmm.
they approved a buyback, I believe, in 2023. I don't know why
Mm-hmm.
I can't find it right now.
Yeah, I think it was
Uh,
2023
I believe it was
at the
2023 where
shareholder meeting.
the shareholder meeting, they amended some articles, just basically giving TransJam the ability to be able to buy back its own shares,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's open market or whether it's um, self tender offer, I believe is the other way. Yeah, self tender offer. I
Mm-hmm.
found the article. It's actually written by David Rose. I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Mm. No, actually, I was looking at the annual report.
Oh, okay.
So it
Okay.
was the 2022 annual report because we said it was in. So it was in 2023, but they're reporting, giving the annual report on the previous year. Um, they talk about this. That you're talking about, where they said shares to be repurchased. So basically, they would buy back. So if you're a shareholder and you wanted to sell your shares, the company itself could, just like how you would see a buy queue or someone who would, like you say, you put your sell order in the queue for someone to sell, or sorry, for someone to buy it. So you say, okay, I have about $10,000 worth of TransJam shares. I want to sell it at this price, and someone Theon could buy it from you at $10. Theon could buy it from you at $3, whatever. The company is saying, hey, we will buy your shares instead, and you end up canceling the shares, so you end up having less shares. So it's almost like a buyout to get that person to exit the company, and the company is still if the company is still making the same amount of profits or whatever, it's like, oh, there's less shares, so it's like the whole supply and demand. You're reducing the
Yeah.
supply of shares out there, but if the business is like still doing well, um, there's increased demand for the shares, then you'll basically increase the share price, or it could increase the share price. But yeah,
Yeah.
do you
Yeah,
really think that
that's
they would buy it? I don't know, because the thing is, if it's a heavy dividend payer,
hmm
then like how I view it, if a company's like making more money than it really needs, yes, you want to invest to grow the company, but at some point there's some companies that they're putting out enough money, they distribute it to the shareholders, give it back to you for owning the shares. Then is either you can pay dividends or you could do a share buyback. I know most companies, at least on our exchange, if they were to do that, they would pay dividends versus a share buyback. I don't really see many share buybacks on our market.
yeah.
Grace, Cygnus, Capreet, First Rock, and which other one was there? First Rock, and
There are a couple of them, yes.
there's not that many though. But
Not
yeah, do you
many.
really think that because the money that I feel like if you're looking at it, the money that they are paying out as
hmm
dividends, do you think that the shareholders would want that? I guess would they want
Okay.
a share buyback versus dividends?
Who are the shareholders that you're talking about? I
There's
think
like a
that's
lot of
crucial
well, lots of like
because
institutions or pensions.
if you're thinking institutions and pensions,
Mm-hmm.
it I think that also depends as well. How are these institutions reporting their investments? Because
Mm,
if they're like me and you, where we don't necessarily love, we're cool with dividends, but we're really in a lot of these investments for capital gains. Some
mm-hmm,
investors think the same thing. And so when you see a company, often that, you know, a buyback often signals that management sees value in its own stock and has confidence in future earnings and so on. Otherwise, they're just for
mm-hmm,
the cash, right? And for TransJam, which is a relatively stable infrastructure business, if you see them start to initiate a share repurchase program, buyback,
mm-hmm,
you know,
mm-hmm,
that could draw positive attention from not just institutional investors, but retail investors as well. And I think that
mm-hmm,
could drive up the stock price. And I think
mm-hmm,
most people that own TransJam, and remember, the government divested the assets twice, right? I mean, you know, they sold the 20% stake, the remaining 20% stake recently to shareholders. Is it that one of their reasons for doing that is so that we all can participate in this offer as Jamaicans and, you
mm-hmm,
know, we would earn something from it and so on? Then at the same time, yes, while the company is paying dividends,
mm-hmm,
capital gains means a lot to other people as well, especially retail investors. So I
mm-hmm,
think that it would be very prudent of management to
mm-hmm,
actually think about the knock-on effects and not just think about it from the institutions who don't necessarily care about stock price. Right? There's certain
mm-hmm,
pensions that don't care about stock price. There's certain
mm-hmm,
a lot of people, you know, don't care about stock price. But I would say most retail investors, if not all retail investors, definitely
mm-hmm,
care about share price and definitely want to see things that will boost share price. Because over time,
mm-hmm,
you want to look at the gain. You want to say, yo, I bought this at IPO and now it's at $10. I'm up,
mm-hmm,
you know, whatever X% on my money. We've seen a lot of stories back in the day of people that their parents bought some shares way back a way and they forget about it. Like can't
mm-hmm,
remember carb cement. People are talking about carb cement at $2, $3, right? And now carb cement is like eight, what, 70, $80.
mm-hmm,
TransJam could be something like that as well. It could literally be one of those type of companies. And so
mm-hmm,
I think over time, yeah, share buyback would actually be very
mm-hmm.
beneficial for a lot of people, and not just retail, also
No, but do you
institutions.
think it will happen that they would actually actively buy a lot of shares on the market? Or they do
Uh,
it to like an offer where it's like, oh, you would apply just like with an IPO where you'd go on whatever platform and then submit your shares. Well, you'd be with an IPO, I guess you just like you say, oh, I have $10,000. I want to buy 1,000 shares at $10. It'd be similar there where you're offering your sale. It's the reverse. You're offering the shares that you already own for sale.
so the
But do
only
you
way I
think
see that happening
which one? I
is
think either one or that
either
specific
one,
type.
either
Oh.
one, because you're talking about the self-tender offer where the company says, right now the stock price is trading at, so a self-tender offer is like this. Let's say I own units of TransJam, Preston owns units of TransJam, and you watching, you own units of TransJam.
Mm-hmm.
It's been trading at $3.60, $3.70 for a long time. The
Mm-hmm.
company says, you know what, guys? I think this is a $4.50 stock. So we're going to send out an
Mm-hmm.
offer to all shareholders, whoever owns TransJamaica Highway shares,
Mm-hmm.
that we will buy your shares from you at $4.70.
Mm-hmm. I will
Right?
buy a certain
So you,
amount of shares.
yeah, certain amounts.
So
Yeah, we'll buy a
like
certain
we will
amount.
buy $1 billion worth or two
Hmm.
billion, I don't know, whatever.
And so you
Mm-hmm.
can sell it. It's like almost like a reverse IPO. You can sell your shares
Mm-hmm.
to TransJam and
Mm-hmm.
collect cash, right? At
Mm-hmm.
that price.
Which is is the company's money is being used for that. So you are
Yes.
electing. So the benefit is that okay, if you are a shareholder, it's I think about it. An easy way is like say me and you run a company, and I want to
Hmm.
exit the company.
Hmm.
You say you don't have you Theon doesn't have the money to buy my stake, then what we could do is make the company could have money on its like money that it controls, and it could buy the shares from me. And so what would happen is like, so once again, the same example, you own, we could use Ticker Juice. So you own, you own half a Ticker Juice, or the juice company. I own half of the juice company. Let's say the whole company is worth 10 million Jamaican. So your stake is worth 5 million. My stake is worth 5 million. The company say has 5 million or maybe 10 million in cash, or could borrow money or whatever. So it buys out my shares. So it says, okay, your shares, it will give me 5 million, and I will give up my ownership of the company, and only you will own the company. So you will now own 100% of the company.
Yeah.
So
there are less shares outstanding. I
and
am
no, less
the
shareholders usually
less
too.
shareholders
So it's
too.
like it's
Yeah.
going from in that. I mean, that was like a super simplified, like, oh, going from 2 shareholders to 1 shareholder. But it would be like going from TransJam could be 10,000 shareholders, and now it's going to 9,000 shareholders or 5,000 shareholders.
True.
And so yeah, there's less amount of what you've done is like shareholders have been able to exit the company, they've walked away with their money, and the next time the company pays out a dividend, if it's making the same amount of money, that means that each shareholder will get more increased dividends. Like for example, if you stayed in the company, so think about it, the same example with the Ticker Juice.
The bag
Say
juice company.
one
Yes.
year, say last year it paid out $1 million in dividends. This
Yes.
year it's planning to pay out $2 million. The
Yes.
first year, you got half of that money. I got half of that money. The next year, because I exited, you get all of that 2 million because you are left in the company. So the people who stay in the company, so basically the people that exit the company get their cash, but then people that stay in the company, they can actually get more of the dividends. If they could even, for example, buy after that too. So if they were already going to buy that, they basically can own. So you can increase your ownership in the company. So if you stayed at the same example, you basically went through that example. You went from 50% to 100% ownership, and you, the shareholder, didn't have to do anything. The company
Yeah.
did that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
Yeah. That's why I
that's,
think buybacks are so powerful
yeah, I wish
because
they happened more.
because
It's
when you think
beautiful,
about
yo.
it,
It's beautiful.
and when you think about it from a real perspective, I said there are 12.5 billion shares outstanding right now.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if 2.5 billion shares were just bought back by the company,
Mm-hmm.
and there are only 10 billion shares now, and you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
pay that same dividend to
Mm-hmm.
10 billion shares instead of that
Mm-hmm.
12.5 billion shares, that
Mm-hmm.
automatically goes up by a factor of,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, my math is, I didn't even think about that. You're going from
Mm-hmm.
1/6 to 1/5.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sizable increase.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and that's just dividends. We're not even talking stock price because
Mm-hmm.
in this example, I was saying TransJam is buying it. Usually buybacks happen at a higher price, right? If
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to buy back at $4.50, do you think the stock
Mm-hmm.
price will still be trading at $3.70? Ain't no way that stock price is trading at $3.70. Because I would be, if the company is gonna buy back shares at $4.50
Mm-hmm.
and the stock price right now is $3.70, I am buying all the shares. I'm buying
Mm-hmm.
way up to $4.10, $4.20, as much money
Mm-hmm.
as I can buy, and then still
Mm-hmm.
sell in that buyback at $4.50. So
Mm-hmm.
usually when you see a self-tender offer at that price, let's say
Mm-hmm.
it is $4.50, it trades closer to that price because
Mm-hmm.
there is no
Mm-hmm.
there's so much potential upside because
It's an
you have a buyer.
arbitrage.
It's an
It's an example of
arbitrage. You have a
arbitrage
buyer.
opportunity. So it's like
That's a
if
huge.
you're seeing a house worth 12 million, you think it's worth 12 million, and or no, imagine someone telling you, hey, in 1 year
Mhm.
I am gonna buy that house for 12 mil. So you buy it for 10 mil now, and then you sell it to them for 12 mil. But it's like
Mhm.
they've given you a contract, I guess, to say, hey, there's a high chance, or yeah. Yo,
Yeah.
imagine that. Imagine them doing a buyback where they're buying back shares at $10. You imagine you could even go like say, okay, for them to even buy back shares at $10, the stock would have to be so cheap
Yeah.
that so then you'd have to like do profit stuff and be like, wait, that would be like, could that be like what? Probably, I mean, there's a point where it's like earnings wise, it would be just stupid not for a company to buy back shares. Like if it was trading at 1 times earnings.
Mm-hmm.
So the business is example like the business just made 10 million profit last year, and you're buying it for 10 million. Like what? You'd be like,
Yeah.
that makes no sense. Like, and then there's a possibility that the business could even earn 12 million next year, 13 million next year. Like you'd be like, what the heck? Like obviously I'd buy that.
Mm-hmm.
Because now,
In
like
fact,
you mentioned, it's trading at I think 8 times earnings. So imagine
oh
if it was at
yes.
like 3 times earnings, 2 times earnings, like it's really, really cheap. So once again, you're buying the business at 30 mil,
Mm-hmm.
but then the last year they made 10 mil profit. And or you think it's a business that could make 10 mil profits every year or something like that? Or yeah.
Yeah. I think
Mm-hmm.
buybacks are powerful in that sense, man. Like, and in terms of timing, because and
Mm-hmm.
guys, I would like for you to just do your own research because there are, I think the main market rule book speaks about buybacks.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, it
Well,
for sure
probably
speaks about buyback
both. I don't think is it just main? I mean, just any.
or a junior market. But
It
yeah,
probably
the
be
rule book is
both.
out. Yeah, the rule
Yeah,
book
the
is
stock
there.
exchange rule book would explain, or not even just you even have to set it legit. Just Google what is a share buyback,
Hmm.
and then because I think like when I realize like a lot of the yes, I mean you should I guess eventually still check the JSE rules to see if like their buyback rules are different, but in general, buybacks follow like overall framework. It's just
Yeah,
there's
it's a
specifics
sequence.
where this market you have to announce it by 28 days. This one it's 21 days. This one
21
it's
days. Hmm.
yeah. At the end of it, it's just yeah. But buybacks definitely beautiful. But I was thinking like with TransJam, my view of the buyback would be it would almost be like a worst case scenario. So say you were expecting that people would react really positively to the increased profits, but like they've been putting out increased profits for a long time, but it's still trading at $4, and then they're increasing profits, increasing profits, increasing profits. Share price still not moving more than $4. It's almost like the buyback to
You could see
me.
that happening
There'd
because
be a
of the.
point where it would become so stupid
Hmm.
for the company not to buy back the shares, even though I don't think the company really wants to buy back the shares. Like right now, they're like, okay, 8 times earnings is not like super crazy, but it's like if it were to reach, if they continue to increase their profits, things go well for them, it's reaching 1 times earnings. It's like it's just stupid not to buy back the shares like they just would. So that's what I was saying. Like it's like a lower case where it's like, okay, even worst case scenario, even if like there isn't that reaction, then you could have that. You could even have that exit. So you could
Hmm.
like liquidate. Even think about that. Think about the size of something like that. Imagine someone being able to encash $10 million out of TransJam, or like imagine they put it's a
Or
dollar.
50 mil.
Say they put in 100,000 at
Hmm.
a let's do the math on this.
You
So
mean
I
1 mil?
well no well okay 1 million at I guess $2, and
Yeah.
say it's $10 the company is saying to buy back the shares, so it's 5x. So the 2 million times 5 is now 10 million. Imagine being able to just easily extract that 10 million. Like you could just sell the 10 million, and you've already got dividends from that, I guess, over the years, and you've been able to do other things. So then it's like, okay, that's your guaranteed exit. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful, especially even like from the perspective of like secondary offerings, because they issue more shares. If you have like a buyback clause or something after that, if the company is making enough money, that I think helps. Like I'd
Hmm.
like to see that company actually saying, hey, with the excess shares that may be out there, we will soak up we will soak up some of those shares.
Yeah. I think APOs should be doing things like that, like within the
Oh, I was
prospectus.
just saying secondary offerings. I'm not saying
I
APO.
know.
Just leave
Okay,
it at
fair.
secondary offerings.
No, but you see how beautiful this kind of conversation is. I would say any secondary offering, because you have to
Mm-hmm.
release a prospectus whenever you're doing a secondary offering. In
Mm-hmm.
it would be nice to hear at least that the company is thinking about the shareholders in terms of
Mm-hmm.
doing like a possible buyback in the future or so on. And some
Mm-hmm.
companies, hey, tell you that they're gonna do things like that. Like look at Cygnus.
Mm-hmm.
Cygnus told
Mm-hmm.
you June 5 years from now we're gonna be doing a buyback.
Mm-hmm.
And the June 5 years after their IPO, they did that buyback. So, yeah, I like when companies do that because to me, it tells me you care about the shareholders, you care about the investors. Because at that point, once you remove that supply and there is even the same demand, once you lessen supply, the price should
Mm-hmm.
theoretically go up. So, TransJam road to $10.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you think would send it to 10? So basically, at the end of the day, you're saying them earning, them
So,
buying other
there are a few
highways, whether in
things.
Jamaica or outside.
hmm So,
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah. So, the roadmap for me was them
Mm-hmm.
acquiring the North South Highway first. If not
Mm-hmm.
that highway, then other highways,
Mm-hmm.
or they could expand. So that's three. They could expand um,
Mm-hmm.
their potential and future highway extensions, and then they could also do a buyback as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then toll rate will always increase.
Mm-hmm.
So price should also increase as well. And
Mm-hmm.
those are just five ways
Mm-hmm.
that I think TransJam can hit $10.
But then when do you think that would happen?
That's the question now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when do I think TransJam will hit $10? Right now it's at $3. So we're looking for what, 130% increase, 140% increase in stock price? We call it no, a bit more. What would make it hit $10? Who's in the driver's seat? Pension funds? Hmm. I think definitely less than 10 years will hit $10 with its
So
current trajectory.
20, you're saying by 35 then?
Yeah.
Or
I'll call
2035?
it maybe 20. Hmm. I don't know, because if the government announces another extension of the highway, if things are
Mm-hmm.
going right, if they don't do like a secondary offering, and depends on the secondary offering too. But if everything stays as it is and on its current growth trajectory, I would say 10 years. If nothing else changes, all they're doing is just increasing toll rates by 5 to 10% per
Mm-hmm.
year. I think in 10 years they would definitely get there. There are other catalysts that I spoke about though that would take it there much faster. So if
Mm-hmm.
I'm a long-term investor, I'm looking for those catalysts to say, all right, my investment is going to definitely do something at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm thinking it could be less. It could be 2031, could be 2032. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it could all be even sooner. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows? Who
Mm-hmm.
knows? So those are some of the things I'll be looking out for. Guys, if I missed anything, because this is a long episode, but if I missed anything, any other points that you think hit TransJam, could take TransJam from its current price of
Mm-hmm.
$3.75 to $10, let us
Mm-hmm.
know in the comments down below. All right, join the discussion. We'd love to hear your thoughts as well. And if you love this episode, please subscribe. We have goals to hit, and you guys are doing tremendous in your support for our channel. So we really and truly do appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
So just
Thank
hit that
you.
subscribe button. Yeah, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and leave a like. But let us know, what do you think will take TransJam to $10? Do you think it will even get there? Let us know in the comments down below. And like always, guys, stay limitless. Out.
Peace.